Hi, this is Mr. S, and today I'm going to show how to solve equations. And I'm going to use two websites that are helpful, so I'm not going to solve it on a paper today. I'm going to show you using pictures, tiles, blocks that you'll figure out what I'm talking about. But before you go into that website, I want to talk one thing. I want you to look at this slide and see 1 plus 1 equal. Obviously, the answer is 2, right? 1 plus 1 equal 2. But I want you to focus on the symbol that's after the second one. This thing right here. It's the equal sign. I want you to think what this symbol represents. What does this symbol represent? I want you to think for a moment. That equal sign. If you ever heard or learned that the equal sign means the answer, like 1 plus 1, the answer is 2. 3 plus 5, the answer is 8. I want you to put that information, take it out, put it on the desk, top on the desk. I'm going to give you the new information and I want you to get that. Just don't think about your information that you had about if it was the answer. The equal sign, it represents that the left side of the equal sign and the right side of that equal sign is the same amount. Those two things have the same amount. For example, 1 plus 1 and 2. They have the same amount. So 1 plus 1 equal 2. That means 1 plus 1, the amount of 1 plus 1 and the amount of 2, they have the equal amount. They're the same. That's what the equal sign represents. It doesn't mean it's the answer. Okay? The best way to look at this equal sign using a picture is Libra. That's on the left side, or the balancing beam seesaw that you've probably seen before when you're young. When it's equal, that means the left side and right side have the equal amount. They're in that same level, like this. It's not like one of them is like this, up, and one of them is down like this. It's on the same level, right? Same thing with the seesaw. One person sitting on the other end, another person sitting on the other end. If they have same weight and same force, they're gonna hopefully none of those two will be touching the ground. If one person's heavier, obviously one person is on the ground and one person is not on the ground, right? So 1 plus 1 equals 2, but if it wasn't equal, like 1 plus 1 and 11 is not equal, here's what happens. Just like I said before, one is going to be above and one's going to be on lower. Okay. So the big thing about equal sign is that left and the right, they have the same amount. Okay. Now I'm going to show a couple of equations on the screen, and I think that your goal is to solve these equations algebraically using numbers and variables on a paper or whatever. But to help you with that, I'm going to show two websites, and the first one is Math Playground. So I'm going to jump there, and Math Playground uses the Libra that I've just showed, and I'm going to use blocks to represent each variable and letters and numbers and things like that. So before that, 1 step, 2 steps, that means the type of equations. Going back to that slide, number 1 is called the 1-step equation. You only have to do one thing. Number 2 is actually 2 steps. You have to do 2 things. Rest of these 4 is called multi-step. Sometimes people say it's variable on both sides. Things like that, but anyway, I'm gonna do 1 and 2. the things similar to 1 and 2 on this math playground. So let's look at one step. It says set up, model this equation. The Libra on the left shows you the left side of the equal sign, left side of the equal sign, and the Libra thing on the right shows you the right hand side of the equal sign. And right now, 0 and 0, it has nothing on neither side. They're equal, right? 0 equals 0. They have the same amount. Yeah, nothing. So let's model this equation. I have to click the arrows to model this. On the left side, you have x and -5. So I'm going to click x, and as you notice, one went down, one went up, right? And I'm going to put -5. 5. On the right hand side, I'm going to put -10. 9, 10. When you model it, it looks equal now. You back to normal, equal again, right? Click check. That's the first step. It should be first step, but anyway, well, modeling is not a first step, I guess. So first step is to isolate the tiles in this equation. That means I just want the x by itself. I don't want these -1s. So we're gonna do add or subtract 1 to the both sides. Notice that I said both sides. You have to do the same thing on both sides so that equation is still equal, like this. Okay? So I want you to look at -1. If I add 1, it goes away. I want you to look at -1. If I add -1, it doesn't go away. You probably figured out 1 plus -1 or 1 minus 1 gave you 0. If you're going to add 0 or subtract 0, that does nothing to it. So I'm going to delete all these -1s, the 5 -1s, adding the 1. Notice that I did it on both sides, by the way. Like I said, you have to do this on both sides. Alright, so I added 5, positive 5 to both sides, and I've isolated the x. What's the last step? Well, its x is how much? -5. Done. Right, let's take a look at the two-step equations. I'm going to do it pretty quickly. Model the equation just like before, 4x. Now, this one is a little different. You have 4 in front of the x. That means I have 4 x tiles. Then I have +2, and then -2 on the right. Now it's equal. Check. Isolate the x tiles. Yes, we have 4 x's, but we're going to deal with the numbers first. It has +1 this time, so I'm going to add the -1s instead of +1. Now I have no numbers, I just have x by itself. I've isolated the x. Ooh, now it's different, right? The previous one, you only had to isolate the variable and you're done. How much was x? It was 5, or whatever, -5. But this step, you have to figure out 1x, but we have 4. So we're going to divide these into 4 groups. Divide each side into 4 groups, and what you're left with is 1x is only -1. I've divided the x into 4 groups. You have to divide these into 4 groups, and one of them, x, is -1. And that is it. This website has lots of things that you can do. You can actually, this one, it has question mark, but you can actually make your own. Just click and drag and, like this. And then once you kind of got it, you can start your own equation, solve that x. But anyway, I'm not going to do that today. The next website I'm going to show is the NCTM. It's National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, and we're going to use algebra tiles. National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. Yep. And this one is using algebra tiles. So just like before, just like the one I did on the math playground, you have to model it first. X minus 5 equal negative 1. X minus 5 is on the left side, and it'll be on this box. And then negative 1 is on the right. It'll be on this box. So X minus 5. I don't see minus 5 in here, but I'm going to click this. Change the sign. Now I have negative 1. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the right hand side I have negative 1. And that's it. Build your model. Solve for x. Same thing as before. I have negative 5. I don't want this. I just want x by itself. So isolate the variable. To do that, I need to add the ones to get these minus 5 go away. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Done. I just kind of have like copy and paste it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, notice that I did something stupid mistake. Since I added 5 to the left side, I have to do that to the other side as well. There you go. And now, plus 1 and negative 1 will be 0, so I can cancel those. I'm going to erase it, because it looks better without it. Negative 1 and plus 1. I can only delete 1. No more negative 1, so I cannot delete these 4 things. Oh, that means I'm left with x equal 4. Now this one is pretty easy. You might think just, oh, what's the number that I can have if I subtract negative 5? I get negative 1, you know. This paper makes you like do things a little bit more. This one is going to be a little bit difficult because you have variable on both sides, and it's going to be a multi-step. This NCTM also has little it's called eliminations, but have some free things that you can do. But these 4 things right here: solve, substitute, expand, factor. Substitute is for solving equations that with 2. So that x is 8, you're going to have to put it in here. Expand, that means multiplying, and this will be good practice if you are looking for things like this. If I'm going back to those slides like this, number 5 and 6, where you have parentheses inside the equation. That's going to be good for the expand. This page will be good for the equation with the parentheses. And factor is a little bit different if you are going in, if you're in like algebra 2 maybe, I don't know. It's actually going back to this way, like this. Factor means going backwards of expanding. Anyway, so 2 websites I want you to look is the Math Playground and the NCTM. Right, and just a summary. So steps to solve equations. Basically, I've categorized it into 3 steps. Simply 1, 2, and 3. First step, simplify each side. You might have to get that parentheses away, exponents if you have any, like 2 to the 3rd, things like that. Combining like terms. For example, number 5, 2x plus 3 minus 4x. 2x and negative 4x, they both have x. So you can actually combine these two. 2 and negative 4, add those together, you get negative 2. So 2x minus 4x give you actually negative 2x. And that's what combining like term means. Once you get that, it's the same steps that I've done in Math Playground and NCTM. Isolate the variable and determine the amount for 1x. Yeah, like divide, multiply, whatever you want to do, and find 1x equal a number. Right? And that's the end of the video. Please like it, leave a comment, and subscribe my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.